Welcome to the Alpine Union. Let's talk about why whites will die out. There are certain reasons why they will die out, and unless they're addressed, they will die out. The first reason is white flight. People who are white tend to run away from non-white resettlement. So they retreat. This happened in India, in Egypt, in Brazil, and it's happening in the American cities, and it's happening basically across the Western world. The next thing is simply whites have a recessive reproduction. It takes two white parents to have a white child, whereas when they're not both white parents, you have the child be more non-white. They're basically non-white, and you can't go back to being white. It's over. So this is biological nature that when whites reproduce with non-whites, they will die out. The third thing is white collective disarray. Whites are not unified on anything practically. They're very diverse in religion, in ethnic groups, in what their tastes are, what their concerns are, and something like preservation of the white race is not important to them. So that gives us the fourth fact of why whites will die out, which is white apathy. A fifth reason is the Anglo-American establishment, which is promoting tremendous amounts of open borders and the culture of surrender, you could call it. It's not just the parentheses, it's the Anglo-American establishment that set up the governments after World War II in Sweden, in Germany, in Denmark, Italy, Austria. These governments are the ones that are not allowed, where the people aren't allowed to speak out and resist, and it's institutionalized destruction of Central Europe. This has to stop, and you can't honestly say that Swedes are stupid or they're weak or they're cucked. This is the government creating a certain mentality in the schools, and it gets worse generation over generation, and they're just being destroyed by the governments that the American government and the British government imposed on them after World War II. So unless that's removed, there's no chance for whites to survive. And then you could call the last reason the myth and religion and laws that we have in general that tie white survival and white preservation. Your hands are tied behind the back. For example, religion is supposed to be universal love for the whole wide world, and this is not going to suit the recessive reproduction traits of whites, so it's not biologically suitable. And then you have various myths and that back that up, and you need to either have new myths and new religions that solve this problem, and there is a way to be creative and figure that out if you want. And then law, you need law on your side to defeat invaders. If your borders are open and you're not allowed to shoot back at the border or protect your border, then you don't have a border and you don't have a country, and you'll just be overwhelmed, and all these things will all work together to destroy the white race. So it's not just the parentheses crowd, it's certain things that whites have to understand about themselves and what they need. There are certain things they need to survive, and they need to acknowledge that, especially number 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. They all are important, and we need to deal with all of them. So if these are our vulnerabilities, we need to deal with our vulnerabilities, and the Alpine Union does deal with all of these. When you create a new government, you've defeated the Anglo-American establishment. You've got the law on your side. You're able to develop something new and fresh and build some strength, show some white spine. And when there's white spine, you're not going to have white flight. And a community starts to build, and it has certain values, and they'll become cultivated. So that collective disarray will disappear, and people will begin to understand how important it is to be united. And because it's so important, once people know about these vulnerabilities and how important it is to have concern for the ancestors and posterity, that white apathy will decay. So join the Alpine Union, become a distributor. We can solve this problem, and I hope we get the people involved to do it sooner than later, because I can't survive without your support, and neither the white race won't survive either without your support. And it only takes a small number of people to actually get the ball rolling. I'm going to have an article on institutions and orders probably get published at Renegade, and I'll add the link once it's published. So stay tuned for that, and get involved. Thank you.